Hello everyone and welcome to part number 5 of our playthrough of Physical Retaliation Warlord. In the last episode we picked very nice set of equipment for level 35. Before we proceed to clear Blood Grove, I'm gonna make some few stops at random encounters and few quests that I have to finish. So this is another good helm, soldier base, and it's especially good if you're battle mage. There is a random encounter here. These people, they refuse to retreat to Homestead and basically die here. There is a note that explains this. In this difficulty, encounter is not that unique, but there is a couple of heroes in the next. And this is, you can see the exact point. It's a nice chunk of experience and some loot as well. I'm gonna grab our skeleton key blueprint, finishing Old Scars questline. I think 33 is a reasonable level to do it. My elemental rests pretty good, so I'm not gonna have huge problems at Steps of Torment. I'm not gonna clear the whole dungeon. I'm gonna be there just for the quest and the devotion shrine. As I said in the previous episodes, farming dungeons in normal is absolutely clickbait. Comes with tons of rare materials because the skeleton keys, they need blood of Catan, and I prefer to stack this, not to waste it. This is a pretty bad spawn. We have two corrupted heroes. That comes with tons of passive damage on the floor. Hand Mortar is a very good single gun weapon, generic weapon. But Gunners at this point is not in very good shape. Unfortunately, I hope for some buffs, at least for a leveling aspect of the things, because leveling as a gunner is a nightmare, especially if you dual wield pistols. My main goal at the moment is to hit 35 before I face the horrors at Blood Grove. So this is Treacherous Domain. You can see it comes with a lot of modifiers. It's not too bad. And I got Resilient. It's not the best roll for me, but still, there is a worse one. But keep in mind when you do dungeons, always check the mutators. Sometimes they can be very rippy. Like Corrupted. There is one that boosts chaos damage, that's very bad in certain scenarios as well. As you can see, I don't clear so much. I'm gonna play here around the objectives. But feel free to clear. This build is a very good clear speed, especially in density areas like this. We continue bumping main here's bulwark. It's a bread and butter of the build. This guy is a reflector. You have to be careful. Play stones of internal trauma. Usually you can attack him when he stops glow in these yellowish spikes. Then is absolutely free. This is the shrine. It's always in this level misery. That's another very important point in Targo. 6% health and some ether resistance. And we just proceed to face the we need at this point also a better shield that's gonna proc much more block, so I can spawn more hammers. Here it's very important to clear all the odds, especially the healers. This boss can be very rippy. That's Grand Priest Zartuzilian. Another generic undead mage like Rolderatis, but this one is a completely fire based. A lot of shotgun and curse of frailty as well. You have to be careful, especially if your fire is not capped. And this is where the quest ends. I get skeleton key for free and a blueprint for skeleton keys. I don't advise you to use it. It's much more rewardable to farm dungeons and ultimate, so you can stack every free skeleton key. But yes, if you desperately need some sort of MIs from the dungeons, that's unfortunate, you have to do it. But in my case, it's not necessary to, so I'm gonna skip it. I need half a level, so I can clear the hives. That's a pretty good chunk of experience. Also, I have few quests that I left behind. In this special occasion. I'm gonna pop up my defensives, so I mitigate damage much better. Overguard is in a huge cooldown, so use it carefully. So first quest is unlocked when you hit respected with Devil's Crossing. This guy wants some dynamites. It's a pretty good deal. Some dynamites for 2k experience. Not too bad. And there is another quest at Old Tarkovia, which triggers when you get friendly with them. Back in the days, this raw jelly bombs, ointments and stuff was very important, because you can stack several of them, but now they fade a little bit, because you can have just one. Ointment, elixir or oil from category. I'm gonna click it. It's a nice 10 health regeneration. At this point I can start my hidden path quest. First boss, my poison resistance pretty bad. I'm not sure if I have anything to boost it. Not, I don't. But I think should be okay. Usually I don't advise you to come here if you are not capped. We don't have dynamites.
I do the best I can with what I've got.
So I'm gonna craft 9. 9 should be alright. Don't want to spend all of my crystals. If you take massive damage in certain area, you can come back later, especially like this one. It's not part from the main storyline, it's an optional quest, but it's a very important one, because gives 1 attribute point and 1 skill point at each difficulty. But comes with tons of poison damage, and the boss is pretty rippy as well. But we have very high health regeneration, so we mitigate that pretty well. And this boss drops retaliation generic pants that can be useful. So we have impenetrable of blood, not the best roll, but still comes with a rare resistance, offensive ability, and flat acid retaliation, and like 100 armor plus on top. I can just check it. Actually it's better than mine. I'm gonna keep it. Of course you can give it a shot a few times for a better suffix. At this point silk swatch is not needed. I can place ancient armor plate, so I can go to up to 98. This is a pretty good threshold for armor absorption. I'm gonna be much more tankier now. Next boss requires tons of chaos resistance, so here is why different pieces comes in handy. So if I equip the gloves and the helm and I have that ointment, I'm gonna be pretty much capped. This encounter over here. Is another pretty rippy boss. A lot of people lose their characters in this boss fight. This is the stone, always look. And if you have this one, that stone's gonna, the door's gonna open for you. Now it's time to switch some gear. So this one, we have 64, and I am gonna click the ointment and we are capped. As you can see, I don't take so much damage. This is a pretty dangerous field, you don't want to stay on top. And this is his ray attack, which is absolutely rippy as well. I can bring back my old equipment. Actually, this goes pretty bad. I can definitely switch off for these ones. Okay. Next boss for this quest is actually pretty forward. So we can leave it for the moment when we reach it. Okay. Let's see if this hive still scales up to 35. As I said in the last episode, 35 is a very good power spike for almost every build. You unlock so much useful stuff. This is ideal moment to craft our runestone as well. We take massive poison damage. Let's clear the totem and twin falls for a As you can see, when your map is not in fog, I can see the totem in a very large distance. It's gonna give me 35. It's always okay to stop, catch up some levels, farm a little bit. Not for items in general, but materials and this is at 35 we have another crafting session. These gloves, they are pretty good physical type of gloves, but I'm not attacking build, so I don't need it. This is 1 to soldier, but apart from that I don't receive anything else. I'm gonna skip it. Solar pants, it's a very good, again, attacking pants if you are a kinda melee build that relies on attack damage converted to health. Also this pant comes with massive boost to reduced freeze duration. Another rare resistant.
Come see what's left of my wares.
But the row is pretty bad, so I'm gonna get rid of it. Actually, I'm gonna keep that helm. Can't be handy. I'm gonna replace my belt at this point. My gloves, my boots, and my shoulders.
Iron will spec.
Gonna retrieve the components. Usually you can place here something different. No much options. Because for now my bleeding rest capped and my pierce rest capped. You don't need so much overcap at normal. Okay, this point I can grab my physical shred. And I can switch my helm as well. It's time. I can keep Milton Cask, can be handy in some situations. Warcry is one of the best DR shred skill in the game. Reduce target's damage, cause it's a AoE skill. It has pretty good animation. But I'm not gonna use in his full potential probably because my component on the shield for now is enough. 15% on a tank build is totally enough. But I'm gonna definitely max out break moral. I need this physical resistance shred.
What brings you to my forge?
And I don't want to pick this from a devotion. Gonna save me some points. Because if I don't take break moral, I have to pick probably keep the scales. But that's gonna be so much unnecessary yellow at the moment. I prefer to max out my retaliation potential. Okay, when we swap out the gear, we are pretty much capped on most of the stuff. I'm gonna replace this frozen heart for a vitality component. Okay, 75 is a good. I'm gonna sell the useless stuff. At this point, as I said, it's good to play around your stash. I'm gonna leave some stuff here just for the showcase. I don't plan to die, but keep in mind when you're new to the game is good to place your rare materials at your shared stash.
I'll keep an eye out.
So just in case, if you get one shot and you lose your hero, all of the most important things are safe. Let's craft our runestone.
Any more scrap metal?
And at this point I think I can get rid of my relic. It's time to get a better one. Okay, let's cap our poison eater. We have good chunk of physical res. Our chaos res kinda bad, but is what it is. I think I can craft actually. No, I don't. I need seal of bindings. They'd start to drop in the next area. When I remove the equilibrium, actually my elemental is pretty healthy. I'm gonna check what relics I pick up during the... I think fortress is what I need. I'm short on one ancient heart. And I don't have fortitude. So I can't change my relic at the moment. That's pretty bad actually.
Come see what's left of my wares. Iron well spent.
I'm gonna make quick stop at the faction vendors. If they have some better relic for me.
I'll give you a good price on what I've got left. Put it to good use.
Nothing here. Let's go homestead. I have to check Isaiah Redden as well.
Come see what's left of my wares.
Okay, that's a jackpot.
See you around.
It's gonna be handy in the next area.
My wares.
Okay. I'm gonna buy fervor. I think
See anything
it's better than nothing at this point.
iron well spent.
Let's see Black Legion. I'm not sure if I hit respected with them. Maybe the next area. This quest is a huge clickbait. Don't do it. It's gonna send you in here at the conflagration area. This is absolutely rippy. So yeah, fortitude is here. It's a Black Legion reputation relic. So I have to wait a little bit for this one. But I'm gonna craft fervor. It's gonna cap my vitality resistance.
If you find any blueprints,
It's an offensive relic, but still better than mine. I think 58 chaos resistance gonna be okay. We are after all a tank build. It's not gonna be so much worried. You want to kill every single of the champion cultists, that one with the yellow names. They have a chance to drop seal of binding. This is a pretty important component. At the left part, it's that's Vigil faction hideout. The main downside of Dead's Vigil, you have to trigger all the quests, most of them. Comes with a lot of backtracking. This area is pretty interesting and it's favored for most of the players. Comes with a lot of secret quests and interesting story. So here, after you face this guard, Reno, you go here, you pass this bridge, and the first secret quest is exactly here. These guys, they want to burn this witch. They think she's alongside with the Ethereals, but she's not. She's just I picked a good option to talk with her and just attack the guys. You can immediately burn her, that saves some time, but I just love to kill these guys. The outcome is all the same, just at this point she gives you a offhand, which is useless, and if you decide to burn her, she's gonna give you a caster weapon, which is another useless weapon as well. And I think the experience is all the same. Here is when we start to take massive damage. And if you stick at the east part, it's the next secret quest. But I'm gonna pick up this Black Legion insignia. Next quest that I'm gonna show you, it's another random encounter, but comes with very good chunk of experience and rover's reputation. I do this in every difficulty. This guy pretends his house is blocked by the stones and wants some help to clear the barricade. And immediately when you enter, there is a red flag. It's a lot of skulls on the floor. This guy actually is the spirit that hunt the forest for ages and kill random adventurers and farmers and everything. But she or he can't go very far from his lair, as you can see. 12,000, that's pretty good chunk of experience. Our main goal with Build Growth is to clear the quests that we pick up at Devil's Crossing and also finish the first 4 quests from Dead's Vigil. You have to be very careful here, especially with my chaos resistance, it's pretty bad. I'm gonna use my ointment. There is a guy named Bolvar here. He's a boss. He always spawns here in different locations. Okay, we found the farmers. They have several spawn locations as well. It's kinda annoying sometimes to found them. This devotion shrine needs a seal of binding. I don't have any, I believe. Pretty unlucky this run. Here I'm gonna mitigate a little bit. If he rolls pretty good pistols, he's gonna be very rippy. I think his pistol's pretty weak this time. Yeah. So magic prefix and the wrong suffix, so he's not so deadly this time. Yeah, I don't have seal of binding. I'm gonna proceed to the rift. But he drops very good generic amulet for a basically oppressor, old keeper plus necromancer. This is probably, if you level oppressor, this is your best bet, especially vitality oppressor. GRIMTOOLS, it's a very good website. You can check MIs, spawn location, maps layouts, secret quests, that kind of stuff. I highly advise you to use it. To finish the quest lines here, we need 4 seal of bindings in total. There is a several place that we can farm. This is a Griver's mill. We have to clear this, basically the barn from the tonics. This is one of the most dangerous mobs in the game, these Harbingers. They put this debuff on you, which is a lot of resistance shred and tons of damage. They are not very deadly by themselves, but this debuff is very brutal. So keep in mind that when you face them, be extremely careful. This is the bar. I receive a lot of the debuff at the moment. But soldier is a very good mastery. I'm gonna proceed forward to the storyline. Next village is a good point to farm some seal of bindings. Not the best spot in the game. There is a very good place, but it's a little bit forward. My chaos res is a little bit bad, but it's a normal hardcore, not veteran, so I was pretty sure that I'm gonna survive this. This village has a very interesting story as well. People, they don't know anything, but actually the apothecary of the village works with the cultist, and basically a lot of people start disappearing after visiting her. She basically drugged them, and after that cultists used the bathroom to drain all the blood, and slowly they kill all the villagers. You can read that in all journals around the map. We start to have some energy problems. I'm gonna pick my second mastery. I'm gonna grab Safeguard. It's a very good shield passive. 1 point is enough for now. Okay, we have our first seal. We can grab the shrine that we left behind, but that's later on. I want to take the rift. I can grab some physic at this point. I think I left that a little bit behind. As I said, leveling is different than endgame. Also, I lost my spirit. I have to fix that. Technically, I go without amulet at this point. I didn't pay attention. Here is the bathroom that I spoke about. As you can see, all the bodies, they drain their blood in a bathtub. Brutal. I'm not gonna click the devotion, gonna spawn tonic heroes. I first gonna deal with the apothecary of this village, Zarya the Carver. This is a pretty deadly encounter as well. I'm gonna just kite a little bit, just to show this is the most deadly mechanic. Her crystals, if you get zapped with both of them, that's a one shot in the most cases. You don't want to fight near them, better kite her or immediately destroy them before they open attack. On Elixir of the Hunt is a very good generic elixir for leveling. It comes with a lot of attack speed, casting speed, movement speed, but the problem is requires very rare material, manticore size. I'm not sure if I'm willing to spend mines. Okay. We desperately need a site devotion to fix up our basically spirit problems. I have to go back, pick up the other devotion before I proceed. I'm gonna finish some quests as well. Okay, I'm gonna bring back my equilibrium back for now. I don't want to go all around without amulet. And the next 2 level I have to be sure I bump some spirit. This is Fort Haran. Here is you need the boss from here, the Kaiman chosen boss. I still need seals to finish their quest line, but I can finish this quest before I trigger it, so I don't have to come back here later. Fort Haran is the same map layout all the time. There is a guaranteed 2 dynamites here. This is the first one, and the second one is at the boss room. This is a lighting based boss. It's a Sister Bravna, the Skybreaker. We kill her pretty fast because she's a dual wield type of build, so she attacks very fast and takes a lot of retaliation damage. I'm gonna bring back all the quests that I finish. Gonna spend my devotion point. That's another very good note. We pick up some chaos resistance.
I am told I could when the Legion was forced to.
What?
Okay. We have to go back to Blood's Grove. We need to find Malkadar's remains. I believe it's somewhere here. Malkadar remains, it's another multiple spawn locations. You have to clear a little bit. Here. Malkadar is a undead warrior. He fight for Dead's Vigil for a long time. His story is pretty interesting. I'm gonna kill this totem before my ointment expires. Some extra money. I'm gonna bring the remains. I'm gonna check homestead vendor for I need to refresh my ointment. I hope he's gonna sell me another one. You can refresh him by teleport to a different city, waiting there a couple of seconds, come back again. I don't check these items because I'm pretty sure I don't need any of them. But feel free to read every single piece, just to get familiar with the prefix, suffix and that kind of stuff. This is a very good generic helm if you play skater. This is a Wire Smite caster basically. This is a very good shield if you play a miner, Rune of Kalastor. Okay, we pick a good chunk of money. We're gonna jump pretty quick to Homestead. Because my chaos resistance drops to 40. I don't feel confident enough. Maybe I need to refresh it 3 times. You can sit here for a couple of seconds. I think it's around 10. And you can come back. Yeah, it's refreshed, but this is a very good ointment. Basically, it's gonna cap your freeze resistance. Huge. Especially at certain areas. I stuck this as well during my playthroughs. Especially when I play at the league. At the Grim Dawn Season League. This is priceless there. Because there is a whole new act that includes a lot of freezing. And this ointment, it's absolutely priceless there. That's my another advice. You can check Grim Dawn League website and stay in track where they're gonna release the next season. It's a pretty good community. The boys did a very good job around it. I play every season and I enjoy it so much. Okay, we got what I need. I can finish this act. Probably in the next episode I'm gonna farm a little bit, finish the Dead's Vigil questline. Always keep in mind, hardcore is a slow game. You need to prepare yourself most of the time. You don't want to spend 30 hours playing this character and die to some random encounter because you rush the game way too much. Even me, I have around 2000 hours in this game and I still going slow. I can speedrun as well, but I don't like this. It's not my type of playstyle. I always take it slow. Even at the league, I start at the very bottom of top 50, going really slow and end up top 20 most of the time, sometimes top 10. Depends how much time I have to play. But I always catch up later on. It's a marathon, it's not race, so this counts for the vanilla game as well. It's better to be prepared, spend some time crafting, spend some time farm materials. I don't farm so much items, I think it's pointless, especially at normal. I'm gonna out level all this gear in the next 5 levels. So what's the point to hunt rare prefixes and suffixes when I'm gonna change this gear sooner or later? Our shoulder slot is empty. I'm gonna place something just to... Not much options. Extra armor is fine. Actually, I can place a physical retaliation generic component. I leave it at my stash, I think. Because at this point I can use it. Yep, it's here. This is some damage on top. Some good chunk of armor. We continue. 2 points in Old Keeper, 1 in Break Moral. We have what we need to finish first 4 quests from the Dead's Vigil, sorry. This guy is swift. That means he's gonna take much more damage because he attacks faster. Retaliation builds, they like swift mobs and swift heroes. At this point there is a pretty good epic shield that I can find. It's a Black Legion crest. Because shield that determines this build, it's actually very late at game, it's at the Mammoth expansion. So I'm forced to use some substitutes. This is Karos, Sigil of Katon, another cultist that sold his soul to the demons. And this is the demon that possessed him. Talnosh. This guy is pretty rippy as well. Not so much in the mode that I played, but this pool is dangerous. And his crystals are the second most dangerous one in the games, after Zarya ones. So here, you want to be sure you get rid of them. You see, one zap of them is around 1k damage. 2 of them is gonna hit for 2k. This is 1/3 of my bar. And this is even more if you play veteran, because he's gonna have much more offensive ability. If these 2 crystals crits on you, it's basically you can see the gray skin screen. Okay, we're gonna take care of the Dead's Vigil questline. They gonna need essence from a very dangerous zone, but thankfully our ether resistance pretty much capped. It's over capped as well. That's the quest. The quest is always west from the Bloodgrove Rift. It's an area that involves a Flesh Hulk boss, and if you stick with that Vigil, another boss on top, Ascendant. This is a pretty rippy spot. I don't advise you come here if your ether resistance bad, but thanks to my preparations and crafting sessions I am at a pretty good spot. This is because at this point I old level Creek Slap. This is my only option to farm crystals if I need them. That's why it's very important to keep track on your ether resistance. So at some point, if you need crystals, you can come here. I don't advise that because it's pretty rippy domain. Here is the Noveria Stonefire. She is a Ascendant Mage. And the Flesh Hulk is here as well. She uses Mirror. She is immune to damage at this point, so I'm gonna kite. And here is the Flesh Cult boss, Venarius, the Bug Breaker. This is... he deals pretty massive damage. This is his Thunder mechanic. This is his Slam. And this is basically a... I forgot the name of this skill. Devastation, sorry. It's apart from the Arcanist tree. Devastation is this meteor, ethereal meteor shower that he spawns. You don't want to be hit by 4, 5 or 6 of them at once. At this point I can grab the next quest. It's here, Keeper of the Tomes. And at this point I can go to Homestead, return my quest to Captain Somar.
Why do you have to? Let's. I've already.
Yeah. You're here with the
And with this quest, this act's finished. Thanks you everyone for watching, and gonna see you in the next episode.